Hi, in this video, I explain how to reverse a car properly and correctly, giving you all the steps you need. Many learners, they get confused which way to steer on the reversing. So like I said, in this video, I'm going to give you every step you need for you to reverse a car correctly. Let's start the lesson. For you to practice this maneuver to reverse, find a place which is quiet so that there is no distraction from other cars. So you could practice many times until you get it right. So find a place which is nice and quiet and there's not many cars around so that you could practice many times until you get it right. So number one, find a quiet place for you to practice this maneuver. Number two, position yourself so that you are ready to reverse. Okay, so say the examiner said for you to do a parallel parking or do a bay parking and you need to reverse the car. For you to reverse, if I were you, I would position myself so that I am prepared to reverse the car. And that's how you're going to be when you are driving normally. Okay, now for you to reverse, it is difficult for you to reverse from this position because you need to look mainly at the back. So for you to reverse comfortably, it is best you position yourself in a way so it is easier for you to reverse. So the best way to position is to face yourself towards a little bit that way, so that then it makes it easier for you to look at the back and look at the front and look all around, and it makes it easier because remember, when you're reversing, this becomes the front of your car. Okay, so when you're reversing, you should be looking at the back mainly, and for you to look at the back mainly, you need to have yourself positioned in a way so that it's easier for you to look. So where do you look? Look at the back mainly, there. Okay, so that's the way you should be looking, and if you are in this position, it makes it difficult for you to see at the back. Okay, so position yourself in a way so that it's easier for you to look at the back mainly. Okay, so that's number two. Number three is the seat belt. When you are driving, normally you will have to have the seat belt on by law. You have no choice. You have to have the seat belt on. But when you are reversing, you don't have to have the seat belt on. You could take the seat belt off when you're reversing. So it's up to you. You could either have the seat belt on or you could take the seat belt off when you are reversing. Okay? So remember, when you're driving normally, you will have to have the seat belt on because that's the law. When you're reversing, you could take the seat belt off because you are allowed to take it off when you are reversing. But make sure when you've done the reversing and you need to go forward again, you must put the seatbelt back on again. This is important because if you don't, you will fail your test. And this is why I say for many learners is that even though you are allowed to take the seatbelt off, if I were you, I would leave it on. That way, before you go again, you're not going to forget to put the seatbelt back on again. So if I were you, I would leave the seatbelt on, but like I said, by law, you don't have to have the seatbelt on when you're reversing. If you do take it off, put it back on again. This is important or you will fail your test for not wearing because it is the law. You will have to have the seatbelt on when you're driving. Hi, if you are learning to drive or you are training to become a driving instructor, we have an online course for you. So if you're a learner, we have an online course for you for manual and automatic. And if you're training to become a driving instructor, we have an online course for you for your ADI Part 2 and ADI Part 3. Please check the description for the links of the courses. Have a look and have a read. If you like it, you could always join the course. Now, holding the steering. Normally, when we drive, we have both hands on the wheel here. Okay? When you're reversing, especially when the car is going straight and you don't have to do any steering, you could have your hands on top here and you could have your left hand either on your lap or you could have it on back of the seat here. Okay, so you could have one hand here and one hand there and reverse like that, or you could have the left hand on your lap. It's up to you, but you could have both hands, which I prefer, have both hands on the wheel and reverse like that. So if you can, have both hands on the wheel. If not, you're allowed to have one hand on the top as long as you are going straight and have one hand on the back of that seat. Okay, now you can only do that if the car is going in a straight line. If you need to do the steering, make sure you have both hands on the wheel. You can't steer with one hand. Okay, that is not the way you should be steering with one hand. When you are steering, you should always have both hands on the wheel. Okay, so if you are going straight, you could have one hand on the wheel. If you need to steer, you need to go into a bay or something, have both hands on the wheel on your steering. Now, regards to the side mirrors, can you adjust when you are reversing? Yes, you can adjust. So say you are doing a parallel parking or a bay parking, for you to see where the pavement is or the curve is or where the side line is on the base, you could adjust the side mirrors. So you adjust it in a way so that you could see whatever you're looking for. And then before you go again, after the maneuver, after the reversing, make sure you put it back on again the way it was. Okay? So can you adjust the side mirrors? Yes, you can. Before you go again, put them back on the way it was before you go again. And the reason you are adjusting the side mirrors, so that when you're reversing, you could see where things are. Okay? So when you're looking at the back, make sure you use the side mirrors to see where the lines are or the curve are. Okay? So basically you are looking at the back, mainly looking at the back, and every now and again what you're doing is you're looking at the side mirrors, and that's what you're doing. So look at the back mainly, and every now and again look on the side mirrors to see where things are. Observations: when you're reversing backwards, you have to make sure that you look all around constantly. You look all around, making sure that there's nothing around, there's nobody around. So when you start the reversing, before you start, look all around, make sure it's all safe, make sure nobody around. Okay? And then you look at the back mainly, and every now and again look around. Okay? So I've looked around. Okay? And now I start going backwards. I look at the back mainly, and every now and again, what am I doing? I'm looking all around, making sure nothing changes. Because if there is something coming or someone coming, stop, wait for them, see what they do. If they wait for you, or if they go, let them go. If they wait, look around quickly again and keep going again. While you go, make sure you keep looking who just stopped for you. If they start to go again, what do? You stop again, making sure that if they want to go, let them go. So observation is the most important when you're reversing. Keep looking around, make sure there's no one coming. Keep the speed low. Okay? This is really important. When you are reversing, make sure the speed is low. Maintain a speed so that it is easy for you to know what's happening around. Okay? So keep your speed low. Maintain a good speed so that when you're reversing, so that you know exactly what's happening. If the speed is too high, then things will happen and you will miss what is happening around. Okay? So keep your speed low so that you don't miss anything what's happening around. Now, which way to steer for me to take the car the way I want? This is important. Many learners, they do have the problem of not knowing which way to steer to take the car whichever way they want to take. Okay? Easy way and the simple way for you to remember is the way you want to take the back, that's the way you steer. Very simple. You want to go towards left. You want to take the back towards left. Which way do you steer? You steer left. You want to take the back right. You steer right. So the way you want the back of your car to go, that's the way you steer. And this is the simple way for you to remember so that you know. The way you want the back to go or the way you want to close the gap, that's the way you steer. So let me repeat. The back of your car needs to go more left because that's the way you want to close the gap. Which way do you steer? You steer left because that's the way you want to close the gap. You want to go towards right because that's the way you want to go more. What do? You steer towards right. So the bottom line is the way you want the back to go, that's the way you steer. Simple. Okay? Many learners, they get confused because they think that, well, I'm looking that way now. Which way do I steer? And in simple, I say to my learners is the way you want to take the back, that's the way you steer. Simple. So when you are driving going forward, for you to go left, you steer left. For you to go right, you steer right. It's simple. You don't even have to think. You just look at the front and the way you want to take the car, that's the way you steer, which is simple, which is common sense, and that's what we all do. We don't even have to think. When you're reversing, it's a bit different because car is going this way, it's reversing. So now we are thinking which way should we be steering for us to correct if it's not correct. What do? So let's go forward a little bit, and I'm going to go away from the pavement a little bit just to show you how I close the gap so you understand fully what's happening. Okay? So I'm going to go forward a little bit, make the gap a bit bigger from the pavement, and then come closer so that you could see what's happening, how I'm doing it. Okay, so I'm going to start the car. Okay, and I'm going to go forward a little bit, and I'm going to be away from the pavement. So say I am here. Okay, so as you can see now, I am quite far from the pavement. So I need to go closer to the pavement. I need to be closer to the pavement. Okay, so look at the steering and look what's happening and what I'm doing, because many learners, like I said, they get confused, and I just want you to understand what's happening with the steering. Practice will make it perfect, but unless you understand what is happening, you will never be able to do it. It doesn't matter how much practice you do. You need to understand what is actually happening. Because when you steer left, the back goes in, front goes out, and then you need to steer opposite, front to come in. Many learners, they don't know that. They don't understand that. You as a learner, you as a driver need to understand. So then when you're doing it, practice will make it perfect. But because you understand it, you know what to practice. If you don't actually understand what's happening, it doesn't matter how much practice you do, it's never going to work. Okay, so we are far from the pavement. I'm going to make my body towards that way a little bit so I could see at the back. I'm going to go to reverse gear. My car is straight. Okay, the gap is big. I need to go closer. So what do? Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit, and I'm going to steer 15 minutes towards left. I need to go left, don't I? That's the way the back needs to go. I need to steer left because the back needs to go left. Steer 15 minutes towards left, done. I've done 15 minutes, and I'm looking at the side mirror, and I'm looking, and the car is going in. Okay, if the gap was bigger, I would have done more steering, maybe half an hour. This wasn't that big, so I did 15 minutes. Remember, 15 minutes I've done. So I'm going, and how much do I need to go? So I make a decision. I need to go maybe I need to go how much? Maybe this much? Just say I want to go this much. Just say this much, okay? So now what do? Now the back is in, but the front is out. So what happens now? Straight, and then 15 minutes towards that way. So the 15 that way made the back go in. Now 15 that way will make the front come in. Okay, so I'm just leaving 15 minutes, and I'm waiting for the car to be straight. Is it straight? Is it straight? Tell me when it's straight. Straight. Here we go. It's straight now. So what do I do now? Get the wheel straight. Yeah, and go back a little bit. And it's straight. Done. Did you get that? So the secret is the amount you steer this way for the back to go in. When the back goes in, you take the wheel back, get it straight, and do the opposite the other way to get the car straight. Okay, so doing it that way, the back goes in, but the front goes out. So it's 50-50. You do 15 that way, 10 that way, 5 that way, depending on the gap. And then when the car goes, you steer opposite, same amount for the car to come in. Okay? When you finish reversing, make sure you straighten the wheel before you finish. So you go into a bay, or you've just done a bay parking, or you've just done a parallel parking. Soon as you finish, make sure the wheel is straight before you finish the maneuver. Because before you go again, you don't want to go and hit the pavement or go right without knowing. Because if the wheel is not straight, it will go the way the wheel is. So before you finish, make sure the wheel is straightened, make sure it's straight before you finish. And last is to practice. Okay, keep practicing until you get it right, until you are comfortable. Okay, so it's practice, and more practice until you get it right, until you feel comfortable, until you know exactly that you are in control when you are reversing. Okay, so keep on practicing in a quiet road until you get it right. And this is the secret of getting this reversing right, doing it right, knowing exactly what you need to do. Okay, so keep on practicing until you get it right. That's the secret of learning or making this maneuver. Hi, if you are learning to drive or you are training to become a driving instructor, we have an online course for you. So if you're a learner, we have an online course for you for manual and automatic. And if you're training to become a driving instructor, we have an online course for you for your ADI Part 2 and ADI Part 3. Please check the description for the links of the courses. Have a look and have a read. If you like it, you could always join the course. So okay, that's it for this video, and I hope the video helps, and hope to see you again on the next video. Bye for now.